Hello, everyone. I wanted to put a brief mention in here for Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. It's free for one, and that's really great when you're first starting out. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or from your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, and that's really great. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So check it out. Download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm, that's F as in Frank, M as in Mary, to get started. Now on to the show. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to In the Dark. As usual, I'm sitting here in front of the candlelight in the dark, just like we all are with everything that's going on. Had a really crazy week this week. It was pretty rough. Took me a little longer to do my video, my podcast, stuff I do for this channel because we had a death in the family. And it was pretty, I guess we just didn't really expect it yet. So, something happened today that it was actually my mother-in-law. She passed away, and she had been dealing with Alzheimer's for a while, about 5 years now. And, we just got a call one day. It was a very strange day. I had two people in our family that we kind of had a little bit of a falling out. It wasn't, I don't know if you would call it a major falling out from my perspective, but it was just sometimes, you have words with people in your family and it kind of bothers you or them. And, you don't talk for a little bit till you kind of get over how you feel. And this day, it was, in the afternoon, I had the one had called me out of the blue to let me know that we had a new member in the family that was born. This is all in the same day. And I was really excited to hear from her because I don't like having falling outs with people, especially people you love, So you don't want that to linger and fester and all that stuff. So I was really happy that she called me. And just as I was getting off the phone with her, I was getting ready to go over and start making dinner. And I got a message on my phone that came through that my mother-in-law had passed away. And this was it was just shocking. I just sat there very stunned. And as I was walking around to the aisle, it was like, I have like an island counter area, and I walked around the side and I started to make dinner. And anybody that knows me, I'm very germophobic, and I'm kind of like, I don't ever like leave cupboard doors open, things like that. I'm kind of, not with everything, but just certain little things. I think we all have a little bit of that in us. And so I walked around the island, and I walked over to the cupboards, and I got a couple cans of something out that I was making. And I know I shut the cupboard door like I always do. And I walked around the aisle or the island. I'm sorry, I call it an aisle. I don't know why I do that. I call it an island. It's an island. I walked around and I looked up, and the cupboard door that I had just closed was standing wide open. And I just stood there for a moment, and I was pretty stunned. And I said, wow, that's not like me, especially since I never open a cupboard door, this cupboard door in particular. There's two of them I don't open that wide because they actually hit my one plant. I have a plant that's situated over on the edge of the counter that if you open the cupboard door too wide, it could hit it. And I love my plants, so I don't want to hit them. And this thing was standing wide open, and I thought, I don't even open this cupboard door that wide. So I walked back over and I shut it again. And as I was shutting it, I was kind of checking it out to see if it, drifted open on its own, if that was possible, but it wasn't. The way I kept testing it out, making sure it couldn't drift open on its own, and it didn't. So I thought, okay, so I closed the door again, and I was very certain it was closed, and I walked around the island again. And no sooner do I get around the island, I turn around, and the cupboard door is wide open again. And I just stood there. I was like, this is just not possible. This has never done this before. And I knew in the moment that my mother-in-law was here, or she was passing through, or something. I don't really know what to make of it. Um, it's interesting, because I haven't seen or heard anything since that night. Um, but I really felt like it was her, because it was within moments of finding out that she died, and it was interesting. So, I had been talking to her throughout the week and just telling her we loved her, and and I told everybody in the family that this happened, and everybody just kind of marveled at it. But it was I don't know, I still can't really get over this. It's crazy when it happens to you. And I know I've got abilities with, kind of medium abilities and psychic abilities, and the stuff I deal with. So I know that the spirit world is drawn to people like that. But the question I really have is, if you're like, I'm a Christian, I believe in the Lord, I believe in Jesus, I believe that, what the Bible says is true. I just don't know where demons fit in, or dark forces fit into this. Like, is it something where, are we allowed to come back and be around our loved ones when we're in spirit? Or do we die, and do we go with God? Do we go to the grave and wait? Is it just people that aren't going to heaven that kind of linger? I have a lot of questions about this. So it's hard for me, because I used to automatically feel that, when you had a haunting in your house, or if you had things move around or do things, that it was demonic, that it wasn't, a person that would be going with God. It was usually somebody that I always felt that demons were mimicking our loved ones to trick us, to make us feel like, okay, what the Bible says isn't true, or, why are these people? It kind of adds confusion to the mix, for what the Word of God says. So it was just an interesting feeling it left me with. I mean, I've had a lot of things happen to me over my lifetime. A lot of things, dreams, visions, hearing things, spirits, haunting, seeing things. I mean, you name it. I've been through everything you could imagine since I was a kid. But this was a really blatant, like, hey, I'm here, So it was interesting for this to happen on the day she died. But I wanted to tell you guys about that. And then right after this happened, so I found out that my one family relative and I made up, who we love each other very much. And at the same time, I found out that we had a birth in our family, which was exciting. And then this happened. I found out my mother-in-law died, and then the cupboards opened up, and then another family member, the other one, that the only two people that I was really just kind of not like, there was no hatred or anything. We just kind of, we're upset with each other, and we just, they were kind of upset with me, I guess, for something. I'm kind of blunt. I'm a very blunt person, and I say things sometimes without realizing I could be hurting somebody's feelings. I'm just very honest about the way I feel, and sometimes I have to watch that I don't say things that could hurt people, because I have to be really careful, because I can just be like, just kind of like, well, this is how I feel, and I just have to kind of be careful. So I'm kind of learning stuff from this. But so the other family member called me, and we made amends, and it was really wonderful. It was a beautiful day, and yet a very heartbreaking day at the same time, topped off with, I think I had a visit from my mother-in-law, who I loved dearly. We were very close for a long time, until she got sick and things just kind of fell apart, but I really loved her. So that was cool, and especially being in the kitchen, because we were always in the kitchen together cooking and doing stuff. So it was pretty cool, either there or the swimming pool. I have so much to tell you guys this week. I don't even know if I can do all this in one clip, because I like to actually do them for only like a half an hour. I don't like them to be too long, because I just don't want to take up too much time when you're watching things. Sometimes when you get on YouTube and you see something that's an hour, you're like, oh, an hour, so I kind of like to keep them short. Okay, so that happened to me this week. Um, I had some people send me some stories I'm going to read to you at the end, which is pretty cool because that's kind of picking up. If you guys have stories or experiences, anything, I don't care what it is, that has to do with near death experiences, visions from God. I have two channels. I have a Christian channel that I talk about things that have happened to me supernaturally with the Lord, which I'll also talk about here. I know everybody has different opinions on religion and faith and all that stuff. So let's just all be kind to each other and understand that we're all allowed to have our own beliefs, and just listen and kind of keep an open heart and mind because you never know. I mean, you just don't know if, maybe that person that is talking has got something. So, but if you guys have anything like spirits that you've seen, it can be something really short. I don't think anything is stupid. I've had some people make comments this week about things being, like not that great of a story, but they're going to send it to me, see if I could use it. I'm like, listen, any story, any encounter you've had, I'm going to read it because it's still an encounter. It's still something that happened and it's interesting. And I think that we learn from every experience that somebody has. Like even like when we talk about the Bigfoot, and the cryptids and the, dogmen, things like that. My family's even said, why do you listen to these so much? And my answer is, I believe that they are demons. I believe that they're creatures that were created from the Nephilim, and they're part Nephilim or Watcher, fallen angel, whatever. And I believe that they attack us. I don't think they all attack us. I think there are some good and some bad, just like humans. But I think there is a great percentage that are preying on human beings. I think that a lot of the children that are being abducted and killed or never returned it's linked to that, aliens, whatever. I think they're all kind of mixed into the same source, which would be Satan or Lucifer. And I believe that if we know every story, it's just one more step in protecting ourselves and our loved ones, that we can pass on the information, whether they want to hear us or not, or they call us stupid. There's still a seed that's being planted inside of their mind that's saying, what if, that this is a person that I trust or love, and they're telling me this, or these are credible people that are telling me this. And yeah, I don't want to believe it and I doubt it, but what if? So keep telling these stories because it doesn't matter if people believe you or not, you're still giving them warning. And I think that that's what this is about. We have got to look out for one another. And I do believe that if we rebuke these creatures and spirits and forces in the name of Jesus, that they have to go away. And we plead the blood of Jesus over our families for protection. I believe that that's what we're supposed to do. It says in the Bible that our tongue is a sword. It is to be used as a weapon, not just for bad, how people use it. That's not what God wanted it to be used for, but it's also a weapon against these demons and dark forces. So when we speak the word of God or we rebuke these spirits, that's our weapon. And we have control over this because we were actually the true inheritors of this earth. It wasn't them, it was us. So just something to think about in this battle that we're in against all this stuff that's going on. So where do I begin with some of this stuff? I wanted to tell you about something that happened when my kids were little. I had two little boys when they were little, and I just moved into this house. It was a half a double, and it was over in a really quiet, nice area of town. And we had just moved in, probably been there for maybe a week, maybe not even a week. And I was in my bedroom at the time, and my sons were in my bedroom with me, actually, I was really relieved about this because they had fallen asleep in my bedroom because they used to sleep with me a lot when they were little. And I heard all this walking in their bedroom. And the house was set up so when you walked up the steps, you would hang a left, and the first bedroom you came to was their bedroom. Then at the end of the hall was my bedroom. So you had to So technically, if somebody would have broken into the house, they could have gotten in and gone to that room first, and I wouldn't have known it because I would have been back in my bedroom. And then the attic was also off of their room. If you went into their room, there was a door that led up to the attic, which was a really nice attic, which I actually ended up kind of redoing into a bedroom and stuff later. And they would just, they kept the door shut. And I think we even locked it and stuff, so they didn't really mess around in the attic. So I was in my room one night and they were sleeping. It was around 9 o'clock at night, and I heard all these footsteps going on in their bedroom, like it was a man walking around with a pair of boots on, and it was really heavy. And this I thought this person was walking, really hard. Sorry, my phone beeps a little bit. And I was so thankful I had a phone in my bedroom at the time. I called my one friend immediately. I cracked my bedroom door and I was looking down the hallway the whole time. I called him, and he was like a 6th, 7th degree black belt in karate. So he was a real one of my best friends, and he was also my karate instructor. And I said, "You got to get up here." He lived very close to me, so I said, "Somebody's in the house. I think somebody broke into the house." So he came rushing up to the house, and the whole time, you gotta understand, while I'm hearing these footsteps, I'm watching down the hall. So this whatever was in the room could not have left. There was no way that they could have gone. And he gets up to my house and he comes flying in. The door was unlocked downstairs, thank God, because that was back in the day when we didn't lock doors as much as we do now, or have to. And he comes in and he rushes up the steps and he goes in the room. He looks all over, goes up to the attic. There's nothing. And he comes down. He's like, "It's clear." And I came out of my room and I was like, "That's not possible." I was like, "That's not possible. There's no way." And there was nothing there. So he searched the whole house with me. Everything was fine. We locked everything up. I think he stayed the night with me or something. He stayed up there with me, and we just kind of I think he slept in that room too, because he was really daring. He didn't care. And so it was about maybe 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, I was sleeping in my room, and the kids wanted to sleep in their room because I had put new bunk beds and stuff in there, but they weren't hooked up like on top of each other. They were side by side. And my one son, he was really wild. He had like a really wild personality. He was just bad. Okay. I don't like to say that, but he was a bad kid. He was just he's always getting in trouble. He's cute as can be and just adorable, but he was just a little pistol. And this toy started going off underneath his bed, and it was in that room where you heard the walking. And I didn't want to put him in this room, but they wanted to sleep in there. So I always kept my door open, their door open. I was kind of like, real vigilant. This toy goes off under his bed, just out of the blue, just starts going off. And I was like, "You got to be kidding me." And I went into the room and I got the toy and I looked at it, and I was just really dumbfounded by what it was doing. After that night, I wouldn't really let him sleep in their room. I was like, "There's just something wrong." I felt something was wrong. I let him play in there in the daytime. I was okay with that because I felt something about daytime. You just feel like things are lighter, and you just feel like, things kind of come out more in the nighttime. It's not always true, but you feel that way. And you just feel like the daytime kind of protects us. And I've always felt like there's a reason why, we're afraid of the dark. There's a reason why everybody goes in at night. And there's a reason for that. Instinctively, there's a reason why we're like that. So it was about maybe a week later, they were laying with me in my bed, and I had a big king size bed, and there was another toy that was underneath my bed that went off and started playing. And I was just like, this is just unreal. So we started feeling like something was really kind of wrong in the house. Like we didn't really know what to make of it. We just felt that there was something in the house that was obviously letting us know that they were there. It never harmed us or anything, but it just was really disturbing. Although, I used to have friends over that would tell me that they felt something, like they could feel a presence or something in the house when they were there. And the most disturbing thing that happened was the night that my sons they were upstairs taking a bath, and they were old enough to be in the tub where you didn't have to watch them every second. They were like 3 and 4, 5 years old. So they were a little bit older, and there was two of them. So you felt a little more comfortable to walk away for a moment, if you had to grab something or do something. So I ran downstairs to check on something. I think I was cooking. And as I was down there, they came running downstairs, dripping with water, stark naked, screaming and crying, "Mommy, mommy, there's a wizard in the bathroom." Now, you got to understand, kids. These aren't kids that are like getting out of the tub and grabbing a towel and saying, "Hey, we're going to tell mom we saw a wizard." These are two little boys that have never even said anything remotely like this to me. They didn't even know that other stuff was going on. I wasn't even discussing it around them. I didn't want them to know. I didn't want them to be afraid. I just wanted them, I told them, I wanted them to sleep with me. It wasn't anything like where I was discussing what was going on or they were overhearing it. And they came down and they were crying and they were hysterical and they were both very frightened. And they said, "There's a wizard in the bathroom." And I said, "What do you mean there's a wizard in the bathroom?" And they said, "It flew in like on a broom. It was little. And then it flew out the window." And I said, "Okay, what did it say? Did it say anything to you? Because I'm not one to not believe my children." And my son said, "It said it was going to kill us or hurt us." I think they said kill. And my blood just drained from my face. I was like, "You can't be serious." It was just unbelievable. I never let them sleep alone, not for years. We were in the house for about 3 years after that. And surprisingly, the house burned down to the ground. Right after I had remodeled it, I had spent all kinds of money remodeling the entire house, buying all new furniture in every room, new curtains, painted the entire house. This entire house and yard was completely redone. And within like a month of that happening, the entire house burned down. So it was a very interesting thing to happen. So that was one of the stories I wanted to share with you tonight about something that had happened to me and my sons. Let me look. Give me 1 second here. I'm just looking. I also wanted to talk about the night that I came home. I was working all night, and I have spoken to you guys before about our yard, like about how spooky and scary it is out there. And I came home one night. This is short. It's not going to be very long. I pulled in with my bus. I have a bus that I drive. I'm actually an ice cream truck lady. I drive an ice cream truck for a living, for business. That's one of the things I do. I do many things. I write kids' books, and I have a website I'm building to do a new Craigslist / eBay / like auction type site with paranormal stories included. I'm having it built right now. But I do several things. I'm opening up a soft pretzel place here in town soon, hopefully, if we can get the right location that we think we do have it. So, but we do have I've had an ice cream truck business for 14 years now. I used to have 7 trucks. Now I'm down to 1. That's a really cool bus. It's bright yellow with strobe lights inside. I mean, we deck them out. We don't play around. These are not junky looking vans that drive around. Like, we have really nice trucks, and the people absolutely love them. So they're really cool. We have them all decked out inside, like just posters and stickers and piñatas, and it's just a really cool experience to walk up to one of our trucks. It's really neat. And the vehicles are beautiful, and this customer service is great. We make sure that we really treat our customers really amazing. I've just loved them. I've had family, people that I've had forever. I just love them. So I pulled in with a bus with I'm down to 1 because I just got tired of employees and stuff. So I just run the 1, and I pulled in one night. It was around 9:00, and I was out there probably till 10, just organizing everything outside. And as I was walking out of the bus, it's parked out around the back of the garage, which is the farthest area from my house. It's really far out, it's really dark, and it's really spooky. And I got out of the bus, went to turn around, and I saw this white. I honestly cannot even describe this to you. I'll tell you what it reminded me of. If you've ever seen Alien versus Predator, it reminded me of the alien, but it wasn't, it was completely white. It was like a grayish white color, and it kind of just, it was real skeletal. It wasn't, I don't think it was a rake. I've already seen a rake. I told you that in one of my stories, one of the initial ones I put up here in one of the podcasts. There's a story about me seeing a rake with my daughter and her boyfriend, and this was something that was like a rake on steroids or something. Like it was the most skeletal, really long arms, really tall, had this really long, elongated skull, not upwards, but like long ways. Just demonic looking. It was just awful looking, and it was peeking around the corner at me. And I was like, there's just no way I'm seeing this. And it just stood there and it looked at me for like, it was probably, I don't know how many seconds, but it wasn't like a real quick glimpse. It was like it stood there letting me know it was there, and then it backed back and it just kind of disappeared. And I mean, I didn't go over to the side of the garage to see if it was there. I closed up the bus and I booked my butt in the house. I was like, I'm out of here. So I usually carry flashlights with me and weapons when I go into the house. And sometimes I'll play like the Bible. There's like an app on my phone. I play the Bible or I talk to Jesus. It's kind of a sucky place to park out there because it's like, you're pulling in at night. And it's always dark by the time you come home because you work in daylight hours, and kind of the cue to come home is when it gets dark. So every time you pull in, it's dark. So it's like, wow, this is crap, So I wasn't real happy, but I guess it's part of the job at this point. I wanted to tell you the story too. This is something I heard. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get a drink here because my throat gets really dry. I say a lot. Sorry, I'm going to try to break myself of some of this stuff. Some of the habits you have when you're talking is like, oh man, why do I say that so much when I'm talking? A lot of people will say, or there's other things. You just gotta, just bear with me. Here. So there was this story I heard, it was a few weeks ago about it was a Bigfoot story, and it really kind of freaked me out. There were these two people they went parking. It was a girl and a guy. They decided to go out to the woods and go parking. And this story came from an actual police officer that wrote in about, he was assigned to the case. He was the one who went there and was part of the crew that was trying to figure out what the heck happened here. They came to this crime scene where the guy was dead and the girl had been killed. Her neck was broken and she had been raped. There was like DNA and hair samples and things like that were left at the crime scene, and when it came back, it was from what they believe was Bigfoot, and they believe there was more than one of them. So it was a pretty freaky story to know that not only do these Bigfoot kill people, possibly take children, eat people, eat children. We have alien abductions going on. Dogmen are killing, there's been all these sightings of just cases and sightings of things that are going on here that, I mean, I'm just speechless. Honestly, I don't even know how to word this, that, these beings and creatures are preying on human beings, killing us, but now they're raping women. So, and some people have said that they take women and they use them to reproduce with. And I can't even begin to imagine. I don't know. But this was something that I wanted to make you aware of this, because if you're a female, and especially if it's like that time of month for you or something, they say that it is really a bad time to be out in the woods. Do not go hiking or camping or exploring, especially during that time. And if you're a female, understand that you're going to be like probably the number one target when it comes to, like abductions and stuff like that for certain of these creatures, like depending on what their agenda is. Some of them just kill to kill, and I think others have other things going on there. So there's a very strong possibility you could be abducted and just taken or raped. And that was very disturbing to me. I don't mean to get graphic here. I don't mean to tell something that horrific, but I just feel that, like I said, we need to seriously be aware of what's going on. So I'm going to read you guys a couple stories here. Bear with me. I had a couple listeners send in some stories. They did not clarify if they wanted me to use their name, so I'm not going to use their name just to keep it, anonymous, because I don't want to do that. I don't want to be presumptuous and think that that's okay. This guy writes and he says, "Hello, my encounter is pretty vanilla compared to some paranormal stories. I was in my late teens or early 20s when this occurred. I'm now 38, so 15 to 20 years ago. It was late one night at my parents' house. I was watching TV in my living room alone. Mom and Dad had long since gone to bed. Anyway, I'm watching a movie or something, and in my peripheral vision, I see what I assumed was one of my parents moving around in their bedroom. Facing the TV, I am in line where I can see into their bedroom and also the master bathroom door. Anyway, I see this movement for a while. This goes on maybe 10 to 15 minutes. All of a sudden, I hear both Mom and Dad snoring. This is odd because just moments before I saw something moving in there. This gets my attention and I look up from the lazy boy to see a shadow move from the darkness of the bedroom toward the master bath. As the shadow hit the beam of light from the bathroom, it disappeared. I can't say I was afraid, more like confused as to what I just saw. Now the story doesn't quite end there. A few years ago, I mentioned this story to my family at some get-together, and my dad said, "Oh yeah, I've seen that in the bedroom before." Thanks for listening, and I hope you find this useful. These entities, boy, they never let up. Okay, now there's another story. Again, I'm not going to mention names. One of my listeners writes in, "Hi, short story if you want to use on your podcast. I was 10, poor sleeper, at 1:15 in the morning on the weekend when this happened. Strange haunting music filled the bedroom. My brother never stirred. I became a bit nervous, so I dived under the covers, but I was strongly compelled to sit up to see 2 lines of 11 little people about 1.5 inches tall, appear from the right of my door, march diagonally across the hallway and straight into the dividing wall between parents' bedroom and the bathroom next door. When the last 2 entered the wall, the weird music stopped. Best regards." That is, can you imagine laying in bed and you get woken up to strange, outer worldly music or whatever it is, and you see basically little Smurfs running around your room? I mean, that's a joke, but you have to wonder where these things come from. Where do they get the ideas to make the movies and all the legends that we have always been brought up to watch and to hear about? Where have they gotten all these ideas, guys? Think about it. It's just crazy. Last story. So one night 2 weeks ago, this is from another listener. So one night 2 weeks ago, my brother's voice awakens me. He doesn't live with me. Wow. I'm 32 and he is 28. All he says is "it." Well, that's great. If you think about the movie It, that's not cool at all. That movie was awful. I can tell it's him by his round shape in the dark. Flannel shirt. It's dark, but I can still see the outside of him. He walks to the end of my bed. I reached for my table next to my bed to turn on the light, but had a hard time, so I took my phone and shone the light, and he disappears. Lightning fast, he disappears. Then I put my phone down again, and I see him again at the foot of my bed, and he slings his fist like at me, punching in the air towards me, but not at me. I'm not sure. But that was the first time ever, and it didn't end that night. A few nights later, I feel something next to my bed again. Again, this wakens me up. It's a dark man. I can tell the shape, but he is pitch black. I get scared, like it takes a lot to get me scared. This scared me. I closed my eyes, and he's freaking touching my bed covers. I quickly turned on the light, and boom, he was gone. And that night, I didn't turn the light off. That is interesting. Now, there's a little bit more of a story to this. Give me 1 second. So, he messages me a few days ago, and he's telling me this story. And I'm like, I feel like you're being, visited by demons and dark forces. Like I said, it's almost like a precursor to, what's it called? Sleep paralysis. He says, well, that's weird because I've had sleep paralysis before in my car. He had it one time, I think, 1 or 2 times in his car, when maybe sleeping in his car or whatever, camping out, who knows. And I said, okay. And as I was talking to him, within probably the first 2 sentences we're talking, I'm hearing in my right ear, somebody is kind of very, very adamantly saying, Albert. Tell him Albert. Say the name Albert. This is what I'm hearing in my ear with my abilities to be able to, pick up on visions and voices and stuff. This is the stuff I deal with. It's kind of like, I don't know if you guys have ever watched Kim Russo. She's a psychic medium. She hears stuff too. She gets people's names and she hears stuff. That's kind of what I deal with something like this. So I'm hearing Albert. Albert is not a common name. I don't even know an Albert. Most of my family members, when I talk to them, they don't know an Albert. This isn't a name you just pull out of your hat. And whoever was telling me this was very adamant about me telling this person, this listener of mine that wrote the story in, that I was to tell him Albert. And I said his name, and I said, let me ask you something. I said, do you know anybody named Albert? And he stops and he says, my old pastor. And I was like, wow. And I said, okay. And I said, is he dead or is he alive? He said he's alive. He said he used to be in ministry, that the person that wrote to me used to do some ministry work, but he fell away from it and just kind of got into doing some marketing for wrestling. But he said he talks to his old pastor named Albert on occasion. I said, what I'm grasping from this is that you are to contact your old pastor, Albert, and you are to get him to help you with whatever is going on with you right now, with what's visiting you in your room. Because he said he's never had anything like this before, and he said that it's only been like the last 2 weeks. So, and then when I got off, talking to him, I realized that whoever told me, I was trying to, sometimes when this happens to me, I try to figure out who it was that was telling me, like a vision or a dream or whatever. I try to figure out who it is. This felt to me like it was one of his family members, not one of Albert's family members, but one of the person that wrote into me, one of his family members, that they were trying to tell me he needs to contact Albert to get help with whatever's going on so he has protection. So I prayed for him and he thanked me and we talked a little bit, and it was really cool. So that's been my week. It's been a very interesting week. Some of these stories are it's really cool. I really love it because it goes much deeper than just you get a story and you hear the story and then it ends there. You get to talk to these people and you get to pray for these people and you get to kind of counsel them, or they get to have just somebody talk to. And just like that person had told me, he said he felt so much better after he was done talking to me. And I thought that was really cool. I was like, that's really neat. So that's it for this week. If my stories continue to come in more, I have got some more too. I didn't add them all tonight. I just want to I kind of like to do a few at a time. If I start getting, more and more stuff, I might do maybe a couple times a week. But for now, I just, like I said, I want to kind of keep this as a treat and, do it once a week for us. So just more as a treat. So we'd like to try to do it on Friday nights, but we'll see how it goes. We had a really crazy week, and that's why I kind of, I was a little bit late this week. But you guys have a wonderful evening and rest of your week, and I will see you soon. And please, like I keep telling you, send me those stories. I can keep you completely anonymous. If you don't feel like typing them out because it's too much typing, you can voice text them to me. I can send you my phone number, and you can text them to me through your voice, or send me a video or something. I don't have to play the video. I can just, write out what you send me. So if it's something where you're overwhelmed with the typing or whatever, that's not a problem. We can work around that. So you guys have a great night. I will see you soon, or talk to you soon. God bless you all. Take care.